Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome to go grab whatever you are currently working on and work alongside as I chat. Alternatively, you can treat this like a podcast. This is, as I said, my WIP this week. I have, excitingly, a couple of finishes, so keep your eyes peeled for those videos. I'll be sharing those. I think I have everything I need. Canvas, drills, trays, pens, my cute little cover minder, notes, my timer, a drink. I think I'm ready to go. So I'm going to rearrange things a little bit, get this all situated so I can zoom into where I'm working and you guys can see. And I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, let me find what color I want to do first here. So what do I want to talk about first? Life update. Gosh, you guys, there is so much going on. Just trying to figure out, well, I guess just trying to figure out life in general. And I just realized I forgot to start my timer, so let me do that really quick. This is my third DP for Vets project. I did my bookmark, I did my journal, I did the eagle. I'm working on this one. Oh, so this is my fourth project. Okay, I can count, I promise. I'm getting off track. Life update. Everyone is healthy, as far as I know, and doing well. So that's good. We are getting ready to host Thanksgiving at my house. So this weekend was a bit of a madhouse, trying to make sure that we have everything that we need, all the stuff that we need to make dinner and all of that. And it was a bit of a discussion between my husband and I, because my husband usually does most of the cooking. I don't like to cook. I can cook, I just don't enjoy it. And so he does like it. And so he typically, when we, have holidays and stuff like this, he'll be the one that does the cooking. Well, he was looking online, and one of the restaurants in the town near us, you can get like their holiday meal, and it's turkey and fixings and all of that. And so he wanted to do that, and I said, well, okay, but when do we have to pick it up? Well, you have to pick it up on Wednesday because they're not open on Thursday, which is actually Thanksgiving. And I'm like, okay, so you're not going to cook and you want it to sit in the refrigerator overnight, so we're just going to reheat food for people? That is not what I want to do. And I told him, I said, if you really don't want to cook, then I'll cook. But I would rather cook it than get it from somebody else and just have to reheat it. I mean, if we could pick it up the day of, that would be one thing. But I don't want to make people work on Thanksgiving. I'm cool with them being closed. I just don't want to serve my family reheated food. So then we went out and looked, and one of the things was, I don't know if this is going to be our last Thanksgiving with my family. We may not be here next Thanksgiving. And so if it's going to be the last one, I would like it to be, our traditional Thanksgiving. And buying it from somewhere else is not that. So we got to talking about it, and, we were talking about things, and I think it was when I finally just said, look, I would rather do the cooking myself than have to reheat it and everything. And also, it seemed like a big waste of money. No one in my family really likes dark meat. We generally, for Thanksgiving, cook just a turkey breast anyway, because that's really all my family likes to eat. And so, I said half this turkey is going to go to waste because nobody's going to eat it. And he's like, well, I'll eat it. I'm like, okay, so you're going to eat half the turkey all by yourself, and the rest of us are going to have to split the other half of the turkey between all of us. That doesn't seem right. it just seemed like a waste of money. And after we kind of talked about it for a little bit, he finally decided, yeah, maybe reheated food didn't sound all that appetizing. And so we ended up not doing it, which also I was like, getting the fixings from this restaurant, everybody has their favorite traditional dishes, I think. We certainly do. My grandma has a certain recipe for deviled eggs that she always made that I make for my brother and I. Other people eat them, but my brother and I really love them. My son and my sister-in-law really love green bean casserole, so that's what they want. My daughter likes the sweet potatoes. That's what she wants. So there's just, everybody kind of has the thing that they want, and we weren't going to get all of that buying it from someplace anyway. And also, I said, for the last month, you have said nothing about this. So for the last month, I have been, as we grocery shopped each week, picking up all the things that we would need. So, 1 week I would buy the stuff for the green bean casserole, and then the next week I would buy the stuffing and the yams, and the week after that I got the turkeys. And I'm like, so, a month ago you could have told me not to be buying all of this stuff, because now it's just going to sit in the pantry if we end up buying a ready-made Thanksgiving dinner. So after many conversations about all of that, I finally just said, look, I really, again, if you don't want to cook, I'll cook. I don't want to do this, regardless of how much time it would save and all of that. So he finally agreed with me. And so we're going to cook everything ourselves. I mean, I'm responsible for the baking. Generally, I make the pies, desserts, the rolls, that kind of stuff. And then he'll actually cook the turkey. I mean, I can cook the turkey. Again, it's not that I don't know how to cook. It's just that I don't enjoy it. So, we'll see what happens. Whether he ends up actually cooking or whether I end up doing a bunch of it. I'm going to bet he ends up doing most of it, because he really does enjoy it. So I don't even know why we were talking about buying it from someplace else. He likes cooking. Anywho, so I finally, convinced him it was going to be a waste of money for stuff that our family wasn't going to eat. Also, I've already bought all this stuff, so that's going to waste money, because it's going to be sitting in our pantry unused because we bought the food from somewhere else. And we waste enough money. We got our local Boy Scout, Girl Scout troops sent around a little notice. Every year they do like a food pantry pickup kind of thing for people who, have to go to a food bank at Thanksgiving or whatever. And so I said to my husband, I want to, you put together your canned goods or boxed goods, whatever, non-perishable items, and then you set it out on your porch or your driveway or whatever, and they'll come by and pick it up, and then they'll take it to the food bank, and then it gets made up for, people in need. So I said to my husband, we probably have plenty of stuff. Let's go through our cabinets, get rid of anything that's expired, and then see what we have that we can donate. So, because I always buy extras of things whenever I grocery shop. So we usually have, extra macaroni and cheese on hand, or we have, just some boxed things, boxed rice, boxed sides, cans of soup, that I bought just to kind of have on hand in case we get a hankering for it, but, we don't absolutely need it. And so I'll donate it. Especially sometimes, it's been in there a while. It's not expired, but it's been in there a while. So I'll just donate it, and then somebody will get some use out of it. So after we did that and went through all of the cabinets, our cabinets were pretty bare on a couple of shelves. And so I said to my husband, well, now that we've thrown this ridiculous amount of food away, because a lot of it was not even suitable for donating, it was expired, so we just had to throw it away. And I said to him, this is ridiculous. We buy all this food, and then it sits in the cabinet for literally years sometimes and never gets used. Why are we buying it? And I mean, I'm just as guilty as he is. So, but we're going through it, and like I pulled out, I think it was a box of rice-a-roni side or something. And he's like, I just bought that. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, it expired 2 years ago. I don't know what you think you just bought, but it wasn't this. And he's like, well, I could have sworn I just bought it. I'm like, well, maybe we're just getting old because, like I said, it expired 2 years ago. So I'm pretty sure you didn't just buy it. So we already, had thrown quite a bit away going through like actual food. And my husband loves kitchen gadgets. Loves, loves, loves kitchen gadgets. The only thing that he likes more than kitchen gadgets is spices. So we had literally 2 shelves in our kitchen, one of our kitchen cabinets full of nothing but spices. And I said to him, you can't even tell what's in here because it's, 4 deep. So you have no idea what you have because you can't see the back of the cabinet. So I bet you have duplicates of stuff that's in there that you don't even realize because you've bought it again thinking that you don't have it because it's buried at the back of the cabinet and you just can't see it. So I said, so we're going to pull everything out. And he's like, no, you're just going to throw it all away. And I'm like, I'm not going to throw it all away. As long as it's not a duplicate, then we can keep it. And as long as it's not expired, we can keep it. Oh my gosh, you guys. We had spices buried in the back of the cabinet that expired in like 2014. Just nuts. There's no reason that I have no clue. I mean, I can only assume the reason we still had it was because, like I said, it was buried at the back of the cabinet and we didn't realize it was back there and we'd bought replacements. So we had several things that we had duplicates of that we didn't need. So we kept the one that was good and got rid of the one that wasn't. Got rid of all the stuff that was expired. I mean, we must have thrown away probably 15 jars of spices. And spices are not cheap. So, yeah. We ended up actually needing a couple of them that we had to throw away because they were expired. For instance, I think after we got done throwing everything away, we had maybe 5 or 6 jars left, and that doesn't include salt and pepper. I'm not including salt and pepper because that's just like everyday stuff. But I mean like basil and thyme and, he has all these different seasonings and we had rosemary and cumin and I mean, you name it, we probably had it. And it was almost all expired. But one of the ones we needed was paprika because you can't make my grandma's deviled eggs without paprika. And since I'm going to be making those for Thanksgiving, I was like, well, we're going to have to go, pick a jar of that up because I do use that. Not all the time, but I do use it. So, and then I had to make sure that I had all the stuff for pumpkin pie because I know a lot of people just buy like that jar of pumpkin pie spice. I don't do that. And so I was like, ooh, I need to look at all of my baking spices and make sure that I had all the stuff that I needed, which luckily I did. So I didn't need to replace anything. Although I did get rid of a couple of things too that we didn't need anymore. I had cream of tartar. I don't know why. I can't even think of a recipe where I would use that. So I don't know why I had it. And ground mace, again, not a clue why I would have that. Can't think of a recipe where I would have used it. So there was just some weird kind of one-off stuff like that we got rid of. But our cabinets look so much better. So it made me feel better because I felt bad because we were throwing away things and, it felt a bit like throwing away money, but it was expired. So there wasn't any use in hanging on to it. And of course, my husband's of the camp that, oh, it's spices. They don't ever go bad. I'm like, yeah, they do. They don't last forever. So anyway, yeah, we ended up getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. So, that part of me that's like, oh, we need to start getting rid of things in preparation for our move and all of that, it made me feel slightly better. So not only did we clean out some of our cabinets in the kitchen, but we also got we're able, because we had room in the kitchen cabinets now, we're able to bring up some of the stuff from our pantry in the basement, which made room down there. So that was good. Yeah, it was good all around. Ridiculous because of how much money I feel like we threw away. But like I said, no use hanging on to it when it's expired, right? And I think it bothered me because we'd been talking about, or I've been talking about and thinking about budgets. It's kind of been on my brain recently. Because we don't know what things are going to look like when we move. And also, I'm kind of struggling with my oldest. She has her new job and she likes it, so it's great. But she just doesn't make enough money currently to make it on her own. Well, she would. I shouldn't say that. She would, except that I can't get her to stop spending it on fast food and like online games. So, I told her I don't begrudge helping her out, but there's a fine line between helping and feeling like I'm being taken advantage of. And some days it feels like we've crossed that line. And whenever I talk to her about it, she eats out way too much. Not just because it's not good for her, but also because she doesn't have the money. I mean, literally, she eats out almost every single day. And it adds up. And then, she'll come to us, well, I need money for, rent, or I need money for this, or I need money for that. And it's like, well, you would have that money if you hadn't eaten out every single day. And what I get is, well, I'm sorry. Well, okay, then stop doing it. And I don't know if it's because she knows that we'll be there to back her up. And so just what's the incentive? And, I keep trying to tell her, we're not going to be here forever. Eventually our PR is going to get approved and we're going to be gone. And there's only going to be so much that we can do from 2,000 miles away. She came over a couple weekends ago because her brakes were acting funny. Well, I mean, they were squealing really badly. And she had taken it to an auto place and they told her that they needed replaced. Well, my husband can do that. So he went to the auto parts store, bought the parts that he needed, and he ended up changing the brake pads and the rotors for her. Which, I told her, if you'd had to take that someplace and have it done, it would have been about double what we spent just on the parts. And where were you going to get that money? And I don't know if in the back of her head she just assumes, oh, well, I'll just call mom and they'll take care of it. Which is not wrong, but is also frustrating. So, I'm really struggling. I really want her, well, I want to feel like she can handle herself once we're in Canada. And I don't feel that way currently, is part of my issue. And that's my issue. That's me as her mom wanting to make sure that she's taken care of. And I get that. That's my issue, not hers. But having said that, I genuinely worry sometimes that she's going to get into a situation that she's not going to be able to get herself out of, even if we help her, because she's going to get too far under before she says something, or I'm not going to know because we're not here, and it won't be as easy to kind of check in with her or keep on top of things as it is with us here. So I just worry. And I know some of that is just me being her mom, but some of it is, genuine worry for, is she gonna, and my husband tells me, you didn't have it all figured out before you moved out. And maybe, again, I don't know if this is the mom in me or if this is just, I feel like it was a different time when I moved out, Maybe I was just more naive then. I don't know. And I mean, she's happy with her job. And it's not that you know, I want her to be happy. I'm happy that she's happy with her job. That's great. But again, she's not making enough money to spend what she's spending. That's the whole thing. If she had a job where she was making enough money and we weren't having to help her out, that'd be fine. You know, she can do whatever she wants. But she doesn't want like an office job. She likes where she works. She likes the people she works with. And I'm fine with that. You know, there's a lot of plus sides to where she works. But in order to live the way that she wants, she needs to earn a little bit of money. And I've talked to her about, you know, doing some kind of side job things or picking up a second job, you know, where streaming on Twitch to make a little bit of money, doing art commissions. She's a very good artist, and I think she could make some money either selling some of her art on like Etsy or doing commissions on Ko-fi or something like that. But I just can't convince her to do it, which is kind of funny because, you know, I'm trying to convince her of some of the things I can't even convince myself of. But I'm just, I guess, better at being a cheerleader for her than being a cheerleader for myself, if that makes sense. Maybe that's the mom in me too, that, you know, I'm always going to be a bigger cheerleader for her than I am for myself, which maybe that's weird, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. I'm always going to have less doubts, I guess, about her talent than I am mine. Is that weird? Is that just a mom thing? I don't know. But I just want to feel like she's going to be safe and secure once we're not here. And again, you know, that's probably the mom in me talking. And is that completely necessary? I mean, there's also the argument of, you know, she just needs to fall on her face a couple of times and then she'll figure it out. Because like when I moved out, did I understand everything about paying taxes? No. Did I understand everything about taking care of a car and, you know, changing oil and getting car insurance and all that kind of stuff? No, I didn't either. I learned. And she's a smart cookie. She'd figure it out. It's just, again, I guess, just that mom side of me that is worried that I feel a bit like I'm leaving her behind, even though she doesn't want to go. You know, it's just, ugh. And yeah, like I said, trying to talk her into just something, you know, something that bring in a couple $100 extra every month would be enough, and she could, you know, be happy and basically do what she's doing, but without having to ride that razor thin line of, am I going to have enough every month? And you know, like I said, I'm having the same arguments with myself. I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to open up my business now or wait until we move. And there's pros and cons for both options. And I haven't really, I guess, figured out which is the better option for me. Right now, every time I think about it, I lean towards, I just need to wait. Because starting it and then, you know, as soon as I jump into that, then things are going to happen faster than I expect, and we're going to end up moving faster than I thought. And so for that reason, it feels like, you know, just wait. But also, you know, there's that part of me that's like, I'm not looking to, you know, make $1 million on Etsy or, you know, that kind of thing. That for me is not the intent behind opening a business. I just want a small business that, you know, makes enough money that I can be independent, that I, you know, am going to have money to do the things that I want to do now and in the future. My husband and I want to downsize when we move, so that we can spend more of our money on experiences. You know, once we move, I know, especially with my daughter still here, that I'm going to be wanting to travel back and forth so that I can see her, or, you know, have her travel back and forth so she can come up there and, you know, do Christmas with us, or we can come down here and do Christmas with her and my family. And I'm I mean, are we going to do that every holiday? No, of course not. But I want us to have the option of doing that. And yeah, so that's part of it. But I don't need, you know, to be, like I said, making $1 million. I don't need a 6-figure business. And it feels like whenever you know, do any kind of research, watch videos, talk to anybody about it, that's what they assume you're after. And so a lot of the stuff that's out there is like, this doesn't apply because that's not my goal. And so I happened to be scrolling through YouTube, and I had a video come up by this woman who has an Etsy shop, and she said, you know, that was the gist of it, that everyone assumes you want a 6-figure business. And the video was about, she didn't want a 6-figure business either. So she had been, you know, working in a corporate kind of 9-to-5 job, and ended up having a daughter. And when her daughter was born, she just decided, you know what, she's only going to be little once, and I want to spend time with her. So she quit her corporate job and opened an Etsy shop. And I don't even know I think she did like crochet or something. I don't know. But she said, you know, her goal was to make enough money that they still had some income coming in, didn't have to replace, you know, the income that she was making from her corporate job. And, you know, I don't know what their situation was. I don't know if she had time to save up before she quit. I don't know. And I don't think she was in the US either. I think she was someplace else. But regardless, she said, you know, my daughter's only little once. I want to spend time with her now while I can, while she's little. And then, you know, when she gets older and I don't need the time and flexibility that I want right now, then I can reevaluate. You know, whether she wanted to go back to whatever her corporate job was, whether she wanted to at that point focus on building up her business more, whether she wanted to do something completely different. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, I don't need to make 6 figures. I mean, yeah, there's always that part of you that's like, oh, it would be nice, but I don't have a full-time job precisely because I don't want all the stress and everything that goes along with it. I mean, if I wanted to, I could be teaching right now, full-time at a school. I don't want to, because all the extra stuff that went along with it, that, you know, when I started teaching, I didn't know they wanted you to do. You wouldn't be a sponsor of this activity or that activity, or be on this committee or that committee, or, you know, all the politics that go along with it. And I don't want any of that. I just wanted to be the teacher. And it wasn't, that part of it didn't make it up enough for me to deal with all the other stuff. So, and I'm lucky enough to be in a position that my husband has a good enough job that I don't have to work if I don't want to. And so figuring out, you know, kind of where do we go from here and things like that. What do we want to focus on? It was kind of nice to see that, you know, someone out there kind of felt the same way that I did, that, again, I don't need to be making $1 bazillion to feel successful. You know, if I'm making enough money, and I guess same thing, you know, same situation with my daughter. I don't need her to be making $1 billion to feel like she's going to be, you know, okay on her own. I just want her to be able to do the things that she wants to do, and at the same time, you know, be making enough money that she's not riding that line between enough and not enough every month. And also that she's making enough that she could put a little bit back, because, you know, that's life, isn't it? You need to be saving because something's going to go wrong. I mean, that's just law of averages, you know, whether you know, something breaks in your house, like we had to replace the coil in our air conditioner this summer, whether your water heater goes out, or whether, you know, the belt in your car breaks, you know, whether your brakes go bad and you need some work done on those, that kind of stuff. Just things happen. And, yeah. So it was just kind of nice to hear this lady kind of talking about things that I had never really kind of articulated before, but were very much, you know, what I was thinking. Like, I just need enough money to be comfortable and do the things that I want. I don't need to be a millionaire. Again, it would be nice, but I also feel like a lot of that comes along with a bunch of other headaches. And that's kind of why I have avoided doing an Etsy shop up to this point, because I told my husband, you know, it already feels like there would be a lot of work involved in it, because, you know, here in the States with all the different sales tax and trying to keep track of all the rules, and every state has different rules, and not that doesn't apply in Canada, but it applies to a lesser degree. Canada has 10 provinces and 10 tax rates. There's, I think, 40 different tax rates at least in my state alone, because it's based on counties in a state, and there are always multiple counties in the state, so it just gets to be a ridiculous number. And there are ways to streamline it, and I know Etsy does a lot of filing for you, but it's just, yeah, it's not worth the headache to me right now for what I want out of it. I guess that's a way to look at it, is just, you know, that balance sheet. Is the work that I'm going to have to put in worth it to me for what I'm getting out? And right now, opening an Etsy shop, I don't think would be worth it to me. At some point, yeah, I think it will be, but I don't think I'm there yet. So, yeah, I'm just waiting to see what happens. And like I said, you know, a lot of what we're doing is still kind of up in the air until stuff gets figured out in Canada. We're getting closer. You know, we've moved several steps through the process, but we still don't, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to know an actual end date until we're at it. I think, you know, we're not going to know, okay, we've passed this step, so in a couple of months we're going to hear something. I think it's just going to be, we're waiting. Okay, we heard something, now we're done. So, and after Saturday, things may move faster than we would like. My husband got a call yesterday that his dad is in the hospital. They're just doing evaluations right now. His dad has had medical issues as he got older, and I think he's having a lot of trouble with them kind of regulating his medications. That's one of the things for me, you know, why I try so hard not to take any medications, because, you know, you start taking one because you're having this problem, and then something else crops up and they put you on this other one, and it just becomes this process of they just add more and more and more and more, especially as you get older. And then eventually, you know, you're taking 15 pills and you have no idea how they all interact with each other. And I kind of think that's where his dad has gotten to. And so hopefully, I think now the thinking is they're going to kind of put him in the hospital, kind of, you know, wean him back off of everything, and then kind of look at what's really going on and what does he really need to be on. Because I really do think that some of it is just he's on too many things, and the interactions between all of them are causing him some problems. Don't know, but we'll see what happens. But, you know, it's been kind of scary, and he was, of course, understandably upset after his mom called to tell him that his dad was in the hospital. And, you know, I said, okay, so after this next step in the process, maybe what we need to do is just at that point start figuring out, like, pick a date and be like, okay, you know, this is when we're going to go up there. But that just puts so many other things up in the air. You know, like I said, he isn't for sure what he wants to do for work yet. So yeah. Anywho, his dad is fine. That he's just being observed right now. So everything's good for right now. So crossing our fingers, it's going to stay that way for a while. what else do I have to talk about in my life update? Oh, you guys. So I saw on Instagram, I've been seeing several people who are posting about using this. Well, there's several different ones now I've since discovered, but the one I was first seeing pictures of, people using like an AI program, an artificial intelligence program to generate pictures, art. And so I went out and I tried one of them, and it's actually really cool. The one I was looking at, you get 25 free tries at it, I guess is the way to look at it. And then after that, you have to pay for the service. It's like anyone can have 25 lifetime images, but then after that, you have to pay. So I think my husband's going to get me a subscription to it for Christmas. There is a definite learning curve because I'm seeing people get some really cool images, but even after reading through all of their like documentation and stuff, I feel like I'm missing something about how to generate the images. I mean, basically you put in these prompts, and there is some, like I said, learning curve to it for, you know, specific things. If you want certain aspect ratios, if you want things like that. But I mean, literally you could type in something like, you know, a picture of a girl on a horse, and the computer will generate an image. And then once you have the image, you can look at, you know, different things. Do you want a variation of it? Do you want to do what they call upscaling it? And, you know, making slight variations from that picture to the next one or whatever. And but it does have a definite learning curve, because what I'm seeing other people achieve with what looks like fairly straightforward prompts is not at all what I'm achieving. So yeah, it's really interesting. So it's called Midjourney. So it's a Discord thing. So you have to have Discord to use it. But I've been playing around with it, and I think it's super interesting. So yeah, my husband's like, just go ahead and get it. Because I don't know if I want to spend the money and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, is it cool? Yeah. And I was showing it to him, and he's like, no, this is cool. Why don't you just get it? So I think I'm going to. I think I was just hesitating on pulling the trigger, because I finally pulled the trigger and bought myself a subscription to Canva. I use Canva all the time to make like my thumbnails and my intros and all that kind of stuff, social media posts and stuff like that. And I don't know why I was resisting pulling the trigger. I mean, I was using the free version, it was doing fine, but there were some things some specific projects that I wanted to do. And of course, everything that I wanted to use was behind a paywall. So I finally just thought, you know what, I'm just going to bite the bullet. I do use it all the time, and having access to a bunch of the stuff that's behind the paywall would just make my life easier. So that's what I did. And I mean, I can count it as a business expense, so it's not that. It was just, I don't know. I just kind of felt like, you know, I'm using the paid version or the free version, and it's working just fine. Why should I pay for it? But yeah, I will admit, after signing up for the paid version and being allowed to access some of that stuff behind the paywall has been nice. No such thing as a free lunch. That's my grandpa always used to tell me. So I try to remember that when I sign up for a subscription service or something like that, you know, that there might be, you know, some free options out there, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're as good or, you know, whatever. So, and sometimes it's just what I'm familiar with. Like, I don't really want to pay Adobe a subscription every month for Photoshop. I could use GIMP. GIMP is like a free open source free software that is essentially Photoshop. I mean, it does a lot of the same stuff, but of course it's a different program, so it doesn't have the same commands. It doesn't look the same. Things are weird. And I tried using it, and even though it's free, it just gave me a big headache. So it was like, is it worth it to me to keep doing all of this and have this big headache and trying to learn this, or is it easier to just pay? Sometimes it's just easier to pay. Okay, I think that is all that I have for my life update. So what I'm going to do is, I think you guys can see this good enough, but I'm going to zoom back out just a little bit, because as I jump into my DP updates, what I want to tell you guys is it is now week 3 of DP for vets. So thank you to everybody who has been participating. It's been really great seeing everybody's kind of progress posts and people, you know, posting their finishes. Some of you are done already. The exit form is open. I will make sure to put a link for that below. So if you, once you finish your project, go to the exit form and fill it out, because you need to have both the entry and exit forms filled out in order to be entered in the final prize drawing. So I've got some really cool photos of people that have already finished their projects. I know some of you are posting on Instagram and other places. That's awesome. I love seeing your posts. I have not been posting as much as I should have been. I was busy trying to finish up some other projects, and I got sidetracked with Miss Havisham. That is now done, so now I can be concentrating on this. And yeah, so I sent out last week's winner, which, gosh, who, I want to say, I don't remember. I'll look it up. Whoever you were, I sent the thing to you. Your name escapes me at the moment. I apologize. Anyway, last week's winner, I already sent out the package, so I have the other one for this week packaged up and ready to go, sitting right here for me to spin the names. So that's what I'm going to do. So we have our week 3 giveaway. Let me get this down where you guys can see it. And I'm just going to spin, and let's see who wins. So today's winner is Jess. Congratulations, Jess. You win this week's giveaway. So Jess, find my email, send me an email so that I can have your mailing address, and I will get this week's giveaway package out to you. So congratulations to her. I should know where she lives. I think I've sent stuff to Jess before, but I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe Texas? I could be misremembering. Anyway, congratulations, Jess. You're the winner for the week 3 giveaway. So that means we have one more giveaway, and then after that, it'll be time for the final prize package giveaway. So again, huge thank you to all of you who are participating. Keep posting your pictures. Use the hashtag DP4Vets. Or tag me on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, I can't wait to see. We are past the halfway point now. Oh, I can't believe how fast this month has gone by. But yeah, already got several people who finished projects. I finished a couple projects, so it's going pretty well. I'm actually liking how these poppies are turning out so far. Okay, let me zoom back in and get situated again, and I will be right back to finish talking about what's going on my diamond painting life. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I think I'm going to do one more color. What color do I want to do? Maybe I'll do a green this time. I haven't done a green yet. Okay, so diamond painting life update. DP for Vets is still going on, like I said. Loving seeing everybody's photos and everything. What else is going on? I finally finished Miss Havisham. So I'm done with my Drills and Chills canvas finally. I have finished a couple of other projects, which you guys will be seeing the videos of shortly. So I've made progress on my Big 10 goal, which is awesome. However, I am kind of bummed because the 2 projects I've got left are both pretty big. And with DP for Vets going on this month, and then some of the stuff that I have planned for next month, I have serious doubts that I'm going to be able to finish both my Distracted by Diamonds and my Heaven and Earth designs by December 31st, just because they're both big projects. I mean, there's a chance, you know, there's a lot of holiday time coming up, and, you know, I have time, but my husband is also going to be home for some of that, which always means that I never have as much diamond painting time as I think I'm going to. And that's not, you know, his fault necessarily. I think sometimes I just, you know, he's home, and so it's like, okay, well, let's do this project, or we need to go do this. And it's something that, you know, we typically would put off until the weekends because that's when he's home. But then when he is off work, it's like, well, let's go do this during the week so we don't have to waste our weekend doing it. And so, yeah, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Although he was supposed to be off. Well, he is off this coming week. They were told they were going to have the week of Thanksgiving and then the week of Christmas off. And then they got told, well, it's going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then it's going to be basically that week after Christmas too. So basically from Christmas to New Year's, they would be off. So we've been making plans and trying to figure out, you know, what did we want to do? I, you know, have to kind of budget how things are going to work because we're not, you know, he's not going to be having a paycheck and that kind of thing. And then he was at work earlier this week and they were talking about, you know, having this week of Thanksgiving off. And my husband said, you know, oh, well, don't forget, we're also going to have those 2 weeks of Christmas off. And the guy he was talking to said, oh no, they've canceled that. We're going to be working now. And he's like, wait, what? When did that happen? Oh yeah, didn't the boss tell you they changed that last week? And he's like, no, he didn't say anything to any of us. So my husband and none of the guys on his crew had any idea, which is, you know, it's fine. That's great. It just would have been nice to know. It's always interesting at his work sometimes. Anyway, that had nothing to do with diamond painting. But anyway, so I still have those 2 big projects to do. Oh, you guys, speaking of projects, so I finished my diamond painting logbook and I shared it with you guys. If you haven't checked out that video, I revamped my diamond painting logbook and the response has been very positive. So thank you guys for that. Now, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea because quite frankly, I put stuff in there that I myself probably won't use, but I was trying to make it as useful as possible for everyone. I mean, there's stuff in my current diamond painting log. Like I think I have a space in there for like the total number of drills. I very rarely put that in there. One, sometimes it's just a huge depressing number and I don't want to know how many drills I'm going to place before I actually start on a project. So I very rarely use it, but I know a lot of other people do, so I put it in there. Anyway, so, you know, it may not be everybody's cup of tea, but hopefully, you know, there was enough of use in there that you guys felt like it was something useful to you. And I had many of you make donations for the logbook, which is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was way more than I had anticipated or expected. You know, it's a free digital download. And then I just asked, you know, if you found it useful to make a small donation. And, you know, I was expecting a couple of dollars, equivalent to what you would pay for a digital download other places like Etsy or whatever. And some of you were super, super generous and donated way more than that. So thank you for that. I am using the money from that to basically pay the postage for my random acts of kindness and then also for the giveaway that I'm planning to do next month, which details coming, I promise. Still working out the details. I've had several ideas for how I want to do it, and then after I think about it for a while, I'm like, that's dumb. I'm not going to do it that way. Let me do it this way instead. And I just haven't hit on the one that I'm going to stick with yet. And I may not. It may be, oh, I'm making this video right now. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then it's going to be too late. It'll have to be what I do because I've already told you guys. But anyway, it's going to be fun, I think. I hope, anyway. I hope everyone enjoys it. I'll enjoy it because I'm going to be giving some stuff away. So it'll be awesome. Who hates free stuff, right? Okay. Yeah, I've been not only trying to figure out what I'm doing next month, but also trying to figure out kind of what I want to do for next year. Definitely have some diamond painting goals already in mind for next year. But I don't, like I said before, I don't want to just do a repeat of what I did this year. Some of the goals will get repeated, of course, because one of my goals was a multi-year goal from the beginning. My diamond painting hours has always been a multi-year goal. You know, there's that whole do something for 10,000 hours and then you can call yourself an expert or whatever. And so I'm slowly working my way towards that 10,000 hour mark in diamond painting, which, you know, the other day, I don't know what video it was I was talking about, but like, I can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years already. It doesn't seem like I've been diamond painting that long. I mean, if I stop and think back over all my projects, then yeah, there's been a lot of projects, so I can see it being that long, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Does that make sense? I don't know, maybe it doesn't, but anyway. So trying to figure out, you know, like I said, what goals I want to focus on. The DP hours will still be one. The budget will probably still be one, although definitely going to give myself a bigger budget next year because clearly I need a bigger budget. But yeah, some other things that I want to focus on and trying to figure out, you know, what do I want to do? I mean, I learned a lot this year from the goals that I did set for myself. Learned my budget needs to be bigger. But then you know, there were some that I met. I tried a bunch of new companies and I got to see a bunch of different products that I probably wouldn't have before. So that was good. You know, I don't know if I'm going to get my Big 10 done, but I've got to experience a lot of diamond paintings that maybe I wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah, so it'll be exciting to see what happens next year, what the new year brings on the diamond painting front. Because of course, you know, as I diamond paint, the world is not standing still around me. People are making, you know, there's new diamond painting companies open. You know, this new AI art thing, people are going to be making diamond paintings from that. I'm excited to see what that looks like. Yeah, I think there'll be some fun and interesting changes next year and we'll see what happens. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good for today, guys. Let me zoom out a little bit here so you guys can see what I had or what I got done. Yeah, so I learned, like I said, I learned a lot from both the things that I accomplished and the things that I haven't or didn't yet. Yeah, leave me a comment down below and tell me what kind of things are you planning for 2023? Do you have a list of events already? Do you have a list of canvases you want to do? Do you have just like a list of things you want to try? Let me know. Maybe I want to try it alongside you. I think that's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. Give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.